Welcome to IP Concerns Deep Dive, the podcast version of our IP Concerns blog from Cascade Law Group. Here, we unpack intellectual property-related, real business and brand protection topics in a way that actually makes sense, no legal experience required.
Imagine you're sitting in a lecture hall right now, like alongside a group of art design students.
Oh, yeah. I can picture that.
Right. And the topic on the board is generative AI and intellectual property. And there's this vital question just, hanging in the air. Can you actually copyright an AI prompt or, the output it generates?
Yeah, that is the big one. It's a question causing a lot of panic right now.
Exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive where we're looking at some excerpts from this really fascinating text called Human Creativity and the Law of AI Copyright.
It's a great read. Very timely.
Yeah, it really is. And the mission for this deep dive is to explore exactly how current U.S. law treats that intersection, right? The intersection of human creativity and generative AI. And ideally uncover how you, the creator, can actually ensure your work is legally protected. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. And I think we really have to start right at the finish line with this. Because for those art design students you mentioned, and really for anyone listening, the ultimate prize they want to protect is the output.
Right, the final generated text or the image or the music.
Exactly. That's the tangible thing you want to sell or put in your portfolio.
Yeah.
But the text breaks down a pretty strict rule under current U.S. copyright law, which is that you generally cannot copyright content created entirely by an AI.
Which is just a massive legal roadblock right out of the gate.
It really is. The law strictly demands, quote, human creativity. So any text or images or music generated by an AI system just on its own, it's not considered the product of a human author.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on that logic a bit. On behalf of, everyone listening who uses these tools, what if my prompt is incredibly detailed, like carefully written over days?
I hear that argument all the time.
Right, because didn't my brain do the heavy lifting there? I mean, think about it like this. If you give a chef a highly detailed, 5-page list of flavor preferences and exact ingredients, you demand Madagascar vanilla, and you describe exactly how the frosting should evoke a crisp autumn morning. It's a brilliant set of instructions, but you still didn't bake the cake yourself.
That's a really great analogy. And what's fascinating here is the source text takes a very firm stance on this exact concept. Even with a meticulously detailed prompt, your 5-page recipe, the output remains totally ineligible for copyright.
Wow. So it doesn't matter how hard I worked on the instructions.
No, it doesn't. Because the machine's generation is legally separated from the human's instruction. The AI mixed the batter and put it in the oven, legally speaking.
Man, that is a bitter pill to swallow. So the output, the cake, is basically just out there in the public domain?
Yeah, the second it's generated, belonging to no one.
Okay, so that logically pivots us to the next big issue, right? If U.S. law says we don't own the output of our detailed instructions, do we at least own the instructions themselves, like the prompt?
The prompt itself, yeah.
Because I physically typed that. My human brain formulated those exact words.
Right. And because a human writes the prompt, the text explains that it might be eligible for copyright. But, and this is a massive, but only in very, very limited situations.
I feel like there's a catch coming.
There is. Simple instructions or purely functional prompts offer absolutely zero protection.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because what is the line between a functional prompt and a protected one?
It's blurry, really blurry.
Like if I walk into a cafe and say, I'll take a standard black coffee, that's a functional prompt, right? I can't copyright that sentence.
Exactly. It's utilitarian. You're just ordering a coffee. Or ordering an AI to draw a dog in a park. Same thing.
Right. But the source talks about a requirement for a highly detailed creative prompt that reflects original expression. So what if my prompt isn't a coffee order? What if it's 5 paragraphs describing a neon-drenched city street with specific emotional weight and complex lighting?
Yeah, that feels different, right?
Yeah.
And this raises an important question, because there is currently no bright line rule for this.
No bright line rule at all?
None. The text points out that this area of U.S. law is completely evolving right now. The Copyright Office is looking at things case by case.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. It leaves creators in this state of total uncertainty regarding just how creative a prompt actually has to be to qualify as original expression.
So I could write a brilliant, evocative prompt, treat it as my IP, and a legal examiner could just say, nope, that's just a really long order for a black coffee.
Pretty much. And even if you do win that battle, even if they say your prompt is copyrighted as a literary work, you still don't own the image the AI generates from it.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Remember, you own the recipe, not the cake.
Wow. Okay, my head is spinning for those old students we talked about earlier. Their final image is unprotected, and their prompt is a legal coin toss that doesn't even protect the image anyway.
It's a lot of uncertainty.
It really is.
Yeah.
So building directly on that uncertainty, we need a concrete resolution here. Since the output is unprotected and prompts lack a bright line rule, how does a creator actually secure their copyright?
Well, the source provides a very clear directive for this. Copyright protection is at its absolute strongest when humans go beyond prompting.
Beyond prompting. Okay, what does that look like?
It means AI has to be utilized merely as a tool along the way, not as the final author. The human has to meaningfully edit, organize, rewrite, or add original material to the AI-generated content.
So what does this all mean? Like, in a practical workflow, it sounds like the AI is basically just delivering the raw lumber.
Oh, I like that, yes.
Right, it drops off the wood and the nails. But you, the human creator, have to actually build the house by editing and organizing to claim ownership. You have to pick up the hammer.
That is exactly it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it summarizes the whole overarching philosophy of the source text. For a long time, creators have been obsessed with prompt engineering.
Oh yeah, treating prompts like magic spells.
Right. But to be recognized as an author, your focus has to shift entirely away from engineering that perfect prompt.
You have to get your hands dirty.
You do. You have to shift toward injecting your own original human creativity into the final polished work. The edits, the restructuring, that's what the law protects.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's do a quick recap for you, the listener, based on everything we've just covered. First, AI output alone just isn't copyrightable.
Yep.
And your prompts usually aren't either. The true legal value of your work lies entirely in your human contributions. The meaningful editing, rewriting, and organizing you do after the AI does its part.
That's the golden rule right now. Be the builder, not just the architect who orders the materials.
I love that.
But, I do want to leave you with one final kind of lingering question to ponder on your own. It builds right off these rules we just discussed.
Oh, lay it on us.
Well, if U.S. law requires us to meaningfully edit or rewrite AI content to claim ownership, at what exact tipping point does an edited AI-generated image or text stop being a machine's output and truly become a human's original expression?
Oh, wow.
Right.
What?
Like, will we eventually need a legal formula to calculate the exact percentage of human edits required to prove our own creativity?
Like, congratulations, you've hit 32% human intervention, you get a copyright. Exactly. How do you mathematically quantify human creativity?
That is a wild thing to think about. It really is the digital version of the ship of Theseus. Well, that is definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.